Managing the multi-generational workforce is the hot cake these days.
How do you manage to maintain a balance between the millennials and the Gen Zs?
It is always about prioritizing work and home responsibilities and balance out which one you want to prefer doing first.
So, but there also are people who are working from home entirely. Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we have been joined in by Sheetal Jerath Sharma, who is making waves in the HR world by her innovative approaches to employee engagement and experience. Ma'am is working as an associate director at Grant Thornton Bharat, and we are truly humble and we are really honored to have you at Rukmini Devi Institute of Advanced Studies. So let's begin with the conversation now. I wanted to talk to you about work-life balance, and I want you to first tell us that what is the definition of work-life balance for you?
So frankly, Navya, over the last couple of years, we've also been discovering versions of work-life balance at our organization. Over the last 3 years, at least, we've realized that there is, it's a myth to say that you can balance your work and life. You can never do that. Okay. It is always about prioritizing work and home responsibilities and balance out which one you want to prefer doing first. So there's a concept of work-life integration, which we have evolved over the last couple of years, where we have realized and we've thought of initiatives and inputs where we could integrate our work and life together. For example, there's nobody at home and I have to, I can't leave my daughter alone. So my organization should give me that flexibility to bring my daughter to my workplace and allow, while I'm attending my meetings, calls, etc., she's also there. It's a happy space for her where she can just spend time because there is nobody at work. So I don't have to take an off because there's nobody, so I have to take an off to take care of her at home. No, that's called integrating work and life. Let's suppose I need to be there at home. My organization should be able to give me that flexibility to go and work from home while I can manage a couple of other things and work at the same time. So that's like the upcoming thing that's called work-life integration. And we at Grant Thornton Bharat, we believe in integrating work and life.
Yeah, that's a really new term that I learned today, and yeah, it's amazing. Like work-life balance is something that is something that we have been living in the past. Now we should move forward to work-life integration.
Absolutely.
That's a great given in India, which is a developing nation, integrating work and life would take us to great heights.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, that some people work from home also, and there's a way in which the company allows people to work from home. So, but there also are people who are working from home entirely, like they're
Correct,
so,
absolutely.
So, how do you maintain that work-life balance, and how do you keep in touch with those employees and ensure that they are giving their best outputs?
So I think post-COVID, that's definitely something which has been a challenge for us as an organization. We've had workforce which has been remote completely. We've had workforce which has been working across different work modes. There are some people who are working from home. There are people who are working absolutely from office, and there are people who are working 100% work from anywhere. So that's also a policy which we have introduced at the organization. It's a challenge to manage different sets of people, but that's the need of the hour. We as an organization need to offer that kind of flexibility, and then we automatically ensure that their leaders are equipped to manage their workforce accordingly. So the remote people should not feel left out. They need to be included in the entire scheme of things and brought together in the organization. Basically, it's one entire team, but that concept of bringing people together is something which we've been focusing on as an organization.
Yeah, well, that's great. Now, there's another, like, just like you mentioned, Avi, that, you're dealing with different people, and dealing with different people involves dealing with people who are from different generations. You know, now with the advent of, all the Gen Zs who are gradually entering the workforce, their attitudes are different, their mindset is different. How do you manage to, maintain a balance between the millennials and the Gen Zs?
Yes, I think managing the multi-generational workforce is the hot cake these days. For any HR leader, it is a challenge. Not just for an HR leader, for any leader of the organization, it is a challenge to manage your workforce, which is ranging from, let's say, 23, 24 years to about 45, 50 years. So that's the range. What we have done as an organization at Grant Thornton is we've offered and introduced policies and work modes which are which can be personalized for the different sets of audience. So we've brought everything on the table. For example, we're the first organization in the industry which has introduced unlimited leave policy. The younger generation, they love that concept that, hey, the organization has given us the trust and decision to choose our set of leaves. Obviously, they'll have to manage their work. They'll have to see how they are, taking care of it. But then we are saying, that, okay, we trust you. You decide your leaves, but you decide your work allocation also. And then they're taking that ownership. So that is really working with our current set of Gen Zs. There's a similar concept of ultra flex. So we are an organization which has an ultra flex policy for everything. So let's say, in one point in time, consulting industry was only about people wearing formal attire.
Yeah.
Now, because our people wanted it that way, the younger generation, we've made it ultra flex. They can just come into office in smart business casuals. So they can choose what they want to wear basis the occasion. If it's a formal meeting, they come dressed up in formals. If it's a usual business day at work, they come dressed in smart business casuals.
That's really amazing. There's this one, a very fun question that's popped in my head in the middle of the conversation. Like, what according to you is a myth in, when we talk about work-life balance? What's one myth that you would like to bust for me as well as the listeners?
See, I think the one which I said initially, the concept of work-life balance is a myth. People need to bust it in their head. Until they do that, it just adds to a lot of stress. People feel कि यार हमें balance करना है. There is work, there is home. Let's balance it. That just creates a little bit of anxiety amongst people. You can't balance it. So once you accept it, कि balance कर ही नहीं सकते हैं, the acceptance comes very naturally with a solution, which is that let's integrate both together, like I said. So the entire concept, I feel, is a myth in itself. To answer your question straight, I think people should accept it.
Yeah, people should really accept it. So you mentioned the strategies, like you use different strategies to maintain that work-life balance so that people are not exhausted. So how do you like what is the way in which you measure the success, whether it's working for the organization, whether the goals are being met or not?
So I think measure of success is always a tricky one. How it works in our kind of setup is that for everything new we want to begin, we run a 6-month pilot.
Okay.
We run a 6-month pilot. We see how the response is. We see how the performance metrics are. Basis that new intervention, if it is working out, we implement it, make it a policy. If it is not, we scrap it. So, for example, very recently we did this 4-day work week pilot. We said, the younger people, they want to work only 4 days a week.
Man, that's another topic. I mean,
so they want to have that 4-day work week, and to ensure that they have that, we said, okay, 6 months ka pilot karte hain, let's see how it works. We ran that pilot. So what I'm trying to say, that not all pilots are successful. We ran that pilot. Now that clients are working 6 days a week. If they are working 4 days a week with 2 days, there's no common this thing. It's an escalation. So only 40% of the employee base opted themselves that, that's a great model. 60% say, no, we want to go back to the original.
Like 5-day or 6-day work.
5 day है हमारा, so it's a 5-day thing. They said कि 5 day ही करते हैं. We can't really manage our clients because we said that okay, let's give you a choice. So that one failed, and we came back to our 5-day work week model. I'm not saying all roles will work 5 day.
Yeah.
कुछ roles थे जैसे an HR role. If you work in shifts, we can work 4 days also. But then majority of the organization didn't buy that concept, and we had to drop the idea.
It's really amazing to hear that you guys are first trying these strategies out.
Absolutely.
It's very it becomes an irreplaceable or very 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 restricted thing if you pass and a rule. It's important that you should actually first try it out, and so that's a great strategy.
That's the
for you guys.
strategy. So that's
amazing.
the strategy for anything new we are picking up and implementing.
So how do you ensure that the work-life balance initiatives, they align with the overall organizational goals? Like they're in balance with what the organization wants, what the top management is, looking out for, and what the managers and the employees are, they basically, how are you ensuring that they are on the same page?
See, I think that's an easy bit. We follow the other way approach. The approach is that let's go top down. So we first take the management buyout. We get them aligned on the concept that hey, this is the policy which we are trying to implement. These are the benefits and these are the areas which we'll have to be working on. And this is what we have thought of. This is how we will mitigate the risk after implementing that policy. Once we take a buy-in from the management, we go ahead and implement it and take it further.
Clear communication always wins, I see.
Absolutely. And top-down communication helps.
Nice. So that is it for the conversation. We really had an amazing time with you, and I learned a lot with you, and I hope the listeners also learned a lot with you. So thank you so much.
Thanks Navya. Thanks for the question. Thanks for your time.